in modern times with Lucasfilm, they always tend to be very strict for some reason. That's what I've been noticing. When it comes to films, games, and so on and so forth, everything seems to be more strict. An example of this, you could say, is in the movie Wreck-It, Ralph Breaks the Internet, or Ralph Breaks the Internet. Basically a 2018 film that has nothing to do with Star Wars, but it has a lot of Disney IPs in it, like Marvel, Disney, other Disney films like the Disney Princesses, and also Star Wars. And what I found out, like, behind the scenes is that through the people who created the film, they said in an interview, like, they wanted to have more Star Wars related stuff in there, and they went to Kathleen Kennedy, who is the CEO of Star Wars, and they went to her, and they said, alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have this bit with Kylo Ren. He's going to be like this spoiled child. It's going to be a funny little bit that's going to happen. And they're like, can we use that? Can we use Kylo Ren in this comedic bit? And Kathleen Kennedy said no, because it will slander the character, and the public, the general public, will be confused by that. That's what she said. Or a paraphrase that the creator said. It's probably a lot longer than that, probably more than that simple answer. And to me, it's like, well, the general public will not get confused because they know that this is satire of other Disney properties. If in that film you have other characters from Marvel and Disney properties, you would think that the general public will not be confused that they're making fun of it, basically, or poking fun at it. And it's one of those things where it's like, you would think that they would know or to have a bit of fun in Lucasfilm, but they don't. And another example you could say is with the development of Battlefront 2. My last video I talked about how the Unlimited Power event was basically like not there. But that's not what I'm talking about. It's more the like skins and characters added into the game, with DICE, the developer, stating several times throughout the span of the game is that it takes a long time to get these characters in the game, or skins, or whatever it may be, because they have to go through this process, and I can only imagine the process must be very, very tedious, especially if they're trying to create something that isn't in Star Wars. Like, there's a couple skins in the game that aren't, like, canon to Star Wars, that technically this game makes it canon. It's like everything has to be 100% serious, just canon, and I'm like, really, does it have to be that way? Can you just have a little bit of fun? Because remember when George Lucas owned Star Wars back in the early 2000s, you had these things like Robot Chicken and Family Guy making their own version of Star Wars. And it's like, I think to the casual audience, even the diehard Star Wars fans, it's like, we know it's just poking fun at it. We know it's not the version of Star Wars. It's like, it's just a fun little thing that they're doing. And I know I've seen, like, I think Robot Chicken's still making, like, sequel trilogy Star Wars stuff with, like, I remember one was like Rey after Rise of Skywalker. She like takes the skeletons out of the Lars homestead and like starts a party in there, which is kind of funny. And it's like, I'm glad, I'm like, I was glad, but I was also surprised that it got through, because you would think that wouldn't, because Lucasfilm's so strict. But no, it's there. Robot Chickens can still make it. And in Family Guy in the newer seasons, they do poke fun at the sequel trilogy a little bit, but it's more like parrying it rather than making fun or poking at it. But you may say, is that a bad thing to have everything be super serious? Well, if you look at the history of Star Wars, I don't necessarily know, because Star Wars has always been kind of campy, you could say, with the originals and prequels, especially with the prequels. They're very campy. You have characters like Jar Jar Binks, you know, running around being all goofy, or having all the serious stuff, and you have, you know, little Annie being like, oh, maybe I'll try spinning, that's a cool trick, you know, those campiness. You know, I think the reason people don't like the prequels is because, like, oh, it's too silly, it's too chaotic, it's too silly, and stuff like that. But when it comes to, like, Revenge of the Sith, they're like, oh, this is a good movie, because it's all dark and kind of depressing, but, like, no, it's still kind of campy a little bit, like, just, like, to me, Revenge of the Sith feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, which is probably why the Clone Wars is so successful, because it kind of feels like Revenge of the Sith feels like a Clone Wars arc. Lucasfilm should do more campy stuff. And I'm not saying to be all silly and like that. I'm saying there should be a balance between the seriousness and also a little bit of fun. If we go back to the prequels, the battle droids they're silly. Like, they're not serious, they're silly. Like, compared to the clones that are all, like, all serious, it's like a balance. That's basically a perfect example. The clones are, like, the seriousness of Star Wars, and the droids are the silliness. And you don't really see that, you know, especially in, like, new sequel trilogy and, you know, the Mandalorian and stuff like that, where it's like, both factions of war are basically serious. Like, you have the First Order and the Resistance, they're all serious. You know, and I feel like that kind of takes away from it a little bit, like the charm of Star Wars. It just, George Lucas has this, I think, balance of both making something serious and serious moments, but also have leeway for more comedic moments. Now, I think in all 6 films that George Lucas has made, there's always been that balance, where there's always seriousness, yes, but there's also moments of relief or comedic moments, where it's like you could cut it out of the film, but it's there for comedic effect. I feel like you can't do that for all 6. Like, there is something there for, like, let's just say, like, a little kid to laugh at. Even though I think all ages can laugh at it, it's something there for, you say, the quote-unquote kids, which George Lucas has said that Star Wars is made for children, which is kind of true, but I think it's a family franchise more than anything. What do you guys think? Do you think Star Wars should be that super serious franchise with Jedi versus Sith and war all the time, or should it have a little bit of campiness in it to kind of keep it fresh and kind of mix it up a bit? I feel like that's kind of the main thing, where it's like, to make it different, to make it mixed up, because you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I think it creates like this unexpectancy when you think about it. I think that's why people like George Lucas' Star Wars a little bit. I think deep down, because yeah, there is all this seriousness, you know, a story and epic about this Jedi that fell to the dark side and his son bringing him back. But there's a lot of little moments within the 6 films that are like, there's campiness, it's silliness. And with the sequel trilogy and with, I think, current Lucasfilm, you kind of don't have that kind of campiness that's spread out throughout all these serious moments. Now, you can say there's a little bit of it when it comes to, like, the stuff that, like, Mandalorian and I'm guessing the Book of Fett could do. I don't really know. I haven't really seen Mandalorian because I don't have Disney Plus, but that's besides the point. Like, I feel like as time goes on, there has to be that return to it, you could say, which maybe there is in Mandalorian. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't really know. But what do you guys think? Comment down below. We can do a discussion. I don't really care. You can discuss it with yourself. I don't really care. The next videos that are going to be coming out on this channel are going to be more ranking videos. I'm going to redo my top 10 Star Wars characters, because I think I need to, like, redo that, because I remember doing that and realizing how wrong I was with some of the picks. So I'm going to be doing that, a proper top 10 Star Wars list. Whenever I do that, it's going to take a couple days to do that, so look forward to that in the next couple days, or maybe a week, to get it all set up. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I'm going to go now, so goodbye, everyone.